G'day and welcome to the Josh Wade Show. My name's Josh Wade. Today's episode is a fucking fascinating one. I speak to Jolene Dawson. Jolene is a transgender male to female woman who wants to look like a Bratz doll. She emailed us earlier on this week, and it was sort of like Connor and I were talking about doing an episode like this, and then the universe had it fall in our lap. It's a very fascinating conversation. Jolene was extremely open. We spoke about everything, and I tried to cover it from every single angle. I don't want to be pandering to either side at all. This is a human conversation, again, where we talk about biology, we talk about gender identity, we talk about plastic surgery, we talk about fame, we talk about sex, we talk about the whole kit and caboodle. This is extremely insightful, and I feel like it's going to be a really big episode in genuinely what we're doing. It's going to be up there with the iStatic one and stuff like that. I love this human shit. Again, this is one of me fucking Oprah moments, and I hope you guys enjoy it with me. If you want to join us on Patreon, you can. We have a private Facebook group where if you join the Patreon, you're able to get access to the group where we do a live stream every week. There's a great community there. We all post stuff all the time. You guys, these guys came up with the logo and everything. You guys helped me create the show, and I'm all about this karma currency right now. I can't stop fucking speaking about it. I want to be able to give you guys some value somewhere and, not ask for much in return other than, you guys engaging, whether that be liking, commenting, reviewing, or even just telling a friend. We do really, really appreciate it. And follow me on Instagram for my own vanity. But I hope you enjoy the episode. If you're driving in the car, if you're listening to this and then you go, oh, I need to fucking listen to this later on, you can download it on iTunes or Android or whatever. The audio version is available, so go listen to it on there because you can listen to it at the gym, wherever. We do appreciate it. Otherwise, enjoy my podcast with Jolene Dawson, the transgender Bratz Doll lady. I don't know if I can say that. I was treading on eggshells the whole time. G'day and welcome to the Josh Wade Show. My name's Josh Wade. Today my guest is Jolene.
Hi.
How you going? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. Yeah, Thank you for having me.
No worries. Now you emailed me earlier this week with a really interesting story. You are transgender and you want to look like a Bratz doll.
Yeah.
And you've spent, $90,000 so far?
I think it's actually a bit over that.
A bit over
they
that.
underestimated.
Okay. So, if you're watching at home, me and Jolene just spoke before. This is a really amazing opportunity to have a conversation for an hour, and I really am interested in how your mind works and how you got to this position, and I guess the whole thing, there's a lot to unpack. So, I guess let's start off. You grew up here on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Yep. Real name was, or your original name was Joseph. Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me about growing up and school and.
I think primary school was pretty weird because I just thought when I was going to get older, I was just going to be the women, the mums. Uh-huh. And I wasn't. And I knew that in my soul, but I was always so surprised that the teachers didn't realize that. I always got that kids are idiots, and so they wouldn't get it. Mm. But when we would be separated into boys and girls, I would always think why doesn't this teacher know that I should be on that side? Mm. Obviously they didn't realize, so that's fine. Mm. But yeah, and then in high school, I don't think I really had too many issues. I was pretty at the time, a gay boy and pretty feminine and obnoxious about it, I have to admit. But nobody really, I don't think had any, I've never, that I remember, had to face any adversity.
Right.
And I've been really fortunate for that.
Well, that's really interesting to hear that because obviously we hear a lot about suicide rates and just everything that goes on within that community. So you had quite a, I guess, normal experience going through that,
relatively.
Like everyone else. Yeah. So when, growing up, obviously you said you were gay. When did you realize, or did you always know in your head that I don't think I'm gay, I think I'm actually a woman on the inside?
Well, I think all through high school, that was the logical thing and the thing that's kind of, not that you're told, nobody tells you to be gay, but when you're, a bit outside of just what people expect from a man, the assumption is that you're gay. And so I just kind of thought that. But I was never I never related to gay culture, and I never was attracted to gay men. Gay men weren't ever attracted to me. And not that that's what it's about, but it was always not gay. And I didn't really take the time to think about it until I was out of high school, and I was you know what, this isn't working for me and it's not going to work for me. So I need to really think about if becoming a woman is going to be the right choice for me, because I know it's who I am, but is the journey going to be what I want to do? And so I spent a year like studying fitness. I shaved my hair. I was living like my most masculine life just to make sure, because I didn't want the next logical step to be to become a woman and then think, if only I never lived as a masculine man, you know, how do I
really know?
Yeah. So I took that time, I shaved my hair and did that. And I just didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. So I texted my whole family and said, I'm going to become a woman. And then I did.
Okay. How did your family react? That's a hell of a text message to pop up and go, oh, and Joseph's a woman now.
Yeah. I think the first message I got back was from my grandmother, and I was staying with her and my aunt at the time. And she just said, okay, what do you want for dinner? We're getting pasta. And I was like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I mean, my family's pretty like progressive and pretty open, but there's always going to be, before you know, that doubt of what if it's okay, but not in my family.
Yep.
And luckily for me, that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been really supportive, and they've done everything that they can. And they've really, like, I'm really lucky to have them. I don't know who I would be without them.
Yeah. Do you think maybe, being or identifying as gay in high school and growing up, that made it easier? Like that sort of not softened the blow, but do you think they were sort of...
I think it just wasn't a surprise.
Okay, right. They knew all along.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The only thing it was never like a concern, but the only kind of them trying to make me take my time with it was just to make sure that it was the right choice. And it was never don't do it or, we don't think you are.
Yeah. Okay. So how old were you when you made that decision? How old were you when you sent that text?
I think I was 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. And I'm 21 now, so...
That's pretty young.
Yeah.
That's really young. What do you think about, some of the kids growing up now that might be, 7, 8, even 13, 14, that are making these very, very big decisions, whether you think you know it or not? When you play with your hormones, you are literally changing the way that your brain is wired.
Yeah.
How do you sit with that?
I think you need to take your time, especially when it's kids. But kids know themselves as much as any adult does, and you have to trust that. A family friend of mine, actually, their child is like really wanting to be a woman to the point where, she's like crying if she has to wear shorts. It was never like that for me because I wasn't really raised with gender identity being at the forefront. So I was never fighting anything like I feel like this girl might be. And I think in cases like that, it's really apparent that it's going to make them happy.
Can you see how there's probably people that come from a position of like just if I said it now, I could go, oh yeah, like the way I was at 13 is vastly different to how my brain is wired now.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see there's obviously a push and pull there. It's like, yeah, that's really what you want, but at the same time, your brain's not even fully developed yet. Can you see the concern that some people
definitely.
might have?
I think people's assumption, though, is that these parents are, doing the most for their children's transition, and I don't think that's the case. I think if you're just happy to let your child, for the time being, do the things that make them happy, whether that's identifying as a woman, and when they're 13, that changes, it's like really going to be, that bad if they're like, shit, that wasn't for me, but it's what made me happy at the time. Because, nobody's putting their kids on estrogen and no one's, getting their children surgery.
Well, that is happening, though, with some people.
Putting their children...
on estrogen and stuff like that.
Is that?
Yeah.
Where is that happening?
There was actually a story pretty recently about a child in Australia, I believe, that had been put on estrogen and had become a woman and then decided that they didn't want to be a woman anymore.
Oh, I haven't read that.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I haven't really seen too much about it, but enough to comment. But I know that that's the main gist of the story. That's one case.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that does highlight the developing brain and how
definitely.
You do have to probably take like you said, a process. It can't be overnight.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I'm surprised to hear that because, I don't know if. At that age, I don't know if you're putting hormones into your body that you weren't going to have testosterone at that time anyway.
Well,
so I don't
you're
know
born with testosterone.
Yeah, but you're not like overproducing in the way to develop into a man. So I'm really surprised to hear that. like that someone would do that. I'm as surprised as anyone, really.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, I guess, so you've made that text when you were, 18, 19, you said. What is the next step after that? You've got that out of the way. Now, where does the Bratz Doll stuff come into it?
That comes in a little...
'Cause that's a whole other level that we need to go into, because that's what people are going to want to ask.
Yeah, definitely.
But we'll get into that after. But so you've made the text, everything's ready to go, you're ready to make that first step. What the fuck is the first step?
I was really lucky to be really good friends with my doctor at the time, an amazing doctor. Unfortunately, he passed, but I think he really he was like, you need to make sure that there's no external reasons for this. So like I had to go to like a psychologist and a psychiatrist, make sure, you know, I'm not trying to mask some other issue.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went to an endocrinologist to do hormone replacement. I did that for a year and it just wasn't like cutting it for me, especially when I'm putting so much money into surgery and other treatments that are going to have the same outcome. I don't have the body fat for it to distribute into a woman's figure. So there was it was more just a routine than anything. So I stopped that. I do naturally have really high estrogen levels. So it really didn't matter. And then that's kind of when the surgery started to come in.
Okay. When you brought up the psychologist and stuff like that, what do you know what those external problems could be for some people out there?
I think for some people, it's gender identity can be a really easy way to handle trauma because it's something that you can take control of, whereas if you have, you know, some sort of intense trauma, you can't always take control of that. Luckily for me, I've never had that, and as far as I know and as far as my doctors know, there's no psychological reason for me to be, you know, hiding from anything or escaping my personality.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So what was the first surgery?
What was my first surgery? I think.
And was it like when you picked, do you just like where do you start, or is it like there is a starting point, or you just go fuck it, I want my tits done?
That was the last one I had, I think. I think my nose was the first thing I had done.
Right.
I was really self-conscious about my nose because it was very Roman. So it was more...
Roman?
Yeah.
What is that?
You know, like a Roman nose? Maybe that's racist. I don't know.
Probably. I think so.
I mean, like Roman sculptures. It's a thing.
Right. So was that just more of a personal thing, whether you were male or female? You're like, I'm getting my nose done. Anyway.
Yeah. Everything I've had done, because early on somebody said to me, I was like, I want to look like a woman. And they said, what woman? And I was like, me, but a woman. And they were like, but which woman? And then I kind of realized, like, you can't be somebody else's idea of a woman.
Yes.
So everything that I've had done has really just been about me and not trying to be a man's idea of a woman or a trans woman's idea of a woman. It's just what makes me happy. And whether people think I look like a woman or not is not my problem, and it's not my business.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to make sure that the surgeries I was having wasn't, to make other people happy about my transition, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but that sounds a little bit hypocritical if you're talking about wanting to look like a Bratz doll as well. Like, do you genuinely want to look like a Bratz doll, or is that just a thing that can, you know, because I've seen that you've done Daily Mail, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you definitely want this to be out there. It's not like you're an oddity. You're just trying to sell your image and sell your personal brand. So is the Bratz doll thing just a thing as like a click thing?
So how the Bratz dolls came into play was everything that I wanted, and as I was going through these surgeries, I was really looking at what I was having done and where I wanted to be, and that's, you know, a small chin, a big forehead, big eyes, that whole look, and that happens to be the more accentuated version of that is a Bratz doll.
Okay. Yeah,
so I didn't take a Bratz doll into my plastic surgeon and say, make me look like this. Like some people think I did, but...
Well, that's what Daily Mail would make you believe.
Well, I can't speak for them.
Well, you spoke to them, but anyway. So, all right, but then where does that ideal come from of a big forehead, a small chin? Like, can you see that could be seen as like an external, like...
Yeah, definitely. I think we all have influences, especially when it comes to aesthetics.
Yeah, sure, that's definitely true. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've never looked at someone and wanted to be like them. It's just what I find appealing when I look at a woman.
Right, okay. Well, then, like I've heard some people speak, and I brought it up on this podcast before, and I don't know if you've ever watched it, but I'd love to hear your opinions on this, and I really enjoy bringing it up because it's obviously right now we're in such a pivotal time where everything's changing, and it's changing quite fast for some people, and obviously some people can't keep up.
Yeah.
They're really trying to keep up, but
Yeah.
their ideas of the world and their reality is being smashed, and the perception is being changed. Not saying that's good or bad, that's up to you. But, I've heard people speak about transgenderism being a type of body dysmorphia in the same category as like anorexia or that. Could you see how maybe explaining like that's what you want to look like could be, because I myself have always had issues with my body. I've always looked in the mirror. I'll look in the mirror all day, every day going, I need to lose a little bit of weight here. I need to train on this certain part. Like I think we all have an ideal body. I think we all probably have body dysmorphia to some extent, every single one of us. Otherwise there wouldn't be gyms, there wouldn't be fucking organic, all of that.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts on when people bring that up. I've always found it a very, very hard thing to not defend, but sort of argue against that transgenderism could be considered a type of body dysmorphia. What would your thoughts be on that? And I'm not saying that that's what I believe, but I think it's a valid question that some people may have.
I think it's easy to assume that, I can only speak for myself. And I know that I spend a lot of time making sure that what I'm doing and what I'm having done isn't about making me any happier than I am. Mm-hmm. I have to be comfortable with the body part that I'm going to change before I change it. Otherwise, I'm escaping something that's going to be there. And I know that might not make a lot of sense to people because I'm still changing it. And I think there is definitely cases where all people, whether they're transgender or not, will be upset about what people think of their nose or their ears or, whatever, and they'd go and change it. But then the problem maintains because they were never okay with it. So I definitely understand when, especially someone like me, is talking about being transgender in the same vein as having so much plastic surgery, more plastic surgery than most people would, how that can come off as a body dysmorphia. And for a lot of people, it probably is. Mm-hmm. But I don't think for myself I've ever looked at myself and thought, it's so bad that I need to change it. There's definitely things that I've done to be more comfortable, but I've never had those feelings that I know people with anorexia and bulimia do have. Yeah, okay. So I can't say for myself that would have been a trigger for me. Yeah. But I understand why it would be for some people. Yeah, and I suppose they are two different things as well in the sense of, anorexia and bulimia are actually, they can kill you really. Yeah. So I mean, it's a different type of thing. Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, what surgeries have you had then?
I think I've had an upper facelift, a mid facelift.
Gee, okay, explain what the fuck they are, because that's and the process, because that sounds painful as fuck. A facelift.
I mean, they put
you're
you
younger
out.
than me.
Yeah.
What do you know?
And you've got me at a really bad time. All my fillers are like dissolving, and so I'm like deflating.
Oh no, don't, because you're sounding that's body dysmorphia shit there.
No, it's just noticing the changes.
All right.
So an upper facelift is from here to here, being lifted.
And what do they do for that?
They cut behind the hairline, trim the skin, and just pull it up.
Is that not terrifying? I'm sorry to keep interrupting.
No, why would that be terrifying?
Just the process.
I mean, I wasn't awake.
I know, but was it sore when you woke up?
No, I have a really high pain tolerance, luckily.
Okay, all right, okay. Mid facelift.
Mid facelift is the same, but they go in from behind the ears. Cheek implants, which they just slide in and then fill it over the cheekbones.
Where do they cut for that?
Like back here.
And they just slide them in?
Yeah. Right. The lip lift, they cut under the nose and pull it up. And then for the nose, they cut, under the nose as well and pull it up and then break it. And then for the jaw, they just like shave it. Oh. They shave the bone. You can feel this implant on my chin. It's very small though. Yeah. And then for my ears, I was awake for that, and they just sew them back.
You said that so nonchalantly. It's terrifying.
Well, I had to get back on a plane. I got my ears done the day after I got my boobs done. So I got my boobs done at 10 in the morning.
Did you go to Thailand for this?
No, I've had all of this done here.
In Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is why it costs so much.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I had my boobs done at 10, and then I had already made commitments to a dinner at 7:30, so I had to go to that, and then the next morning I went to my doctor and had them take the drains out so I could get on a plane to Sydney to have my ears done.
Whew. So it's a big day. Big
Yeah,
day for you.
it was rough.
I had a busy day this week, but that's busier than anything I've ever done. So what's that like then? I mean, I would assume that it would be more painful as a male getting a boob job.
Stretching out the muscle.
Yeah, yeah. So
no, I could touch my palms together behind my back the next day.
Right. Okay, so when you've looked at yourself in the mirror after that, once it's all been said and done and all the swelling's gone down, and were you happy with everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. What more do you want?
I think my Adam's apple and my brow bone. And then I think...
What the fuck's wrong with your brow?
It's just like a bit heavy. I just like it back a bit more. So they just shave it back.
Could you see how some people would say that... Let's throw the transgender stuff out the window for a second. Let's just talk about plastic surgery.
That it could be like cuckoo.
Well, not cuckoo, but like... That is what most people will say. I'll get in trouble for not saying this, but that's quite excessive.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Yeah.
But...
And that's okay. Whatever makes you fucking happy. It's not my fucking life. Whatever makes you happy, that's all cool. But like, do you worry that do you think there's going to be a point where you go, all right, I'm totally happy now. I'm the person that I've always wanted to be.
Yeah, for sure. If somebody took away all my money and said you can't have any more plastic surgery, I'm so comfortable with who I am that I wouldn't be trying to make that extra dollar just to get it.
Yeah.
But I have the money and I have the time, and it's something that I want, so I may as well get it, Right. It's like if you want a Mercedes.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're gonna get it when you can afford it.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna, stab your own mum for it.
Yeah, well,
I hope
unless
not.
You're on meth, but or you just steal the car. But all right. So, and what do you do then for a living? So
I have a 9 to 5, which I'm really, the people that I work with, I really love. When I started working there, my family grew by hundreds, and I'm so glad that it did.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll ever leave there. And then on the side, I do run 2 businesses as well as buy and sell businesses.
Right.
So I like to stay busy, which is why I had everything done so quickly, and, I had my ears done the next day because I wanted to be back working.
Okay.
Staying busy.
Where do you see yourself in, let's say, 20 years, business-wise? Like what?
Retired.
Retired. You want to be retired, right? Doing what? What's your ideal? Where is the dream world? What do you want to do?
I think I just want to go back to LA and just retire.
Right.
And live there and just
stay. To LA and retire and live there. What did you like about LA?
It's just like so my soul. Okay. Like everything there is just like
I thought you said sold my soul. I was like,
I sold my soul and now I'm here. No, I just like it. It's just a better atmosphere. There's a lot more culture there. So.
Do you want to be famous?
No. I have no interest in it.
You don't?
No.
So where does like the interest in putting yourself out there come from then?
I just want to show the humanity in being transgender, especially at a time like this. I think it's really important that I know that I don't have the most common experience as a trans woman, but it's an experience, and I think people need to know it. People need to, if not for the people that don't understand, for the people that do understand and aren't like sure where they're going. Like I don't imagine myself in 5 years being known for anything. I just want to have like my home and my husband and just, stay there.
What is that ideal life for you?
I think just having no commitment to anything other than my own life.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, geez, this is so much to unpack. I need to go back to the Bratz Doll stuff.
Yeah.
That's just, like, for a lot of people, they're probably going to sit here and watch it and go, I still don't understand.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I still don't understand that. So, I mean, did you ever play with dolls growing up?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I didn't. What did I do growing up? I think I just drew a lot. yeah, I did really like the Bratz cartoon, and I like those two, and this is going to throw me in it, but those two, there's these two blonde characters on it, and they both have, like, constantly have nose jobs. I thought they were just the coolest.
Do you think there's
No.
got to be some influence there? There
No.
has to be.
I don't think so. I think it's just something that
So you're telling me this just comes
related
out of
with.
nowhere?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, you can ask anyone that knows me. I think I've always been obsessed with body modification.
Yeah.
Whether that's tattoos or piercings. I'm not
Yeah.
a huge fan of piercings myself,
Yeah.
and plastic surgery. And
Right.
that's, yeah.
Yeah.
That
No,
was just
that's
one
actually
of
a
them.
thing.
Before ever seeing the Bratz
My
with their nose jobs.
Yeah.
Or,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So next, do you want to get gender reassignment surgery?
eventually.
Yeah.
I'm in no rush.
You're okay.
Yeah, at first I was definitely in a rush. I felt like I needed to just have it all done out of the way. But and not that I don't, but I just want to really appreciate the process and take my time. And there's other things at this point. I'm so comfortable with my body, and my genitals don't play a huge factor in my life. I don't think they do for anyone. And so at this point in my life, I am really comfortable. And so I want to spend more time thinking about the future and taking care of the people I love.
Yeah.
Before I worry about my genitals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what
So you
they look
find
like.
that quite trivial, really?
Well, not trivial. It's definitely important, but it's not an appreciating asset.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I need if I want to not be working past 30.
Yeah. Okay.
Is appreciating assets.
Yeah. Okay. Great. What's your dating life like then? Because that's probably changed fucking tenfold at this point.
It has. It's interesting. It's hard.
bet.
Yeah. It's really hard to know if the man that I'm seeing, not that I'm seeing anyone right now, but when I'm seeing someone, that they're not fetishizing me, and that happens a lot.
Okay.
I'll go on a date. Most recently, I was on a date with this guy, really cute, just my type.
What is your type?
Older than me, and I like a man that can get me drunk and take advantage of me, you know.
That is
And-
wild. We are unpacking that one after this.
I'm a wild gal, but we'll get to that.
Okay, great.
And this guy was literally everything, like, and I'm sitting on his bed completely naked. So is he. Hopefully my family doesn't watch this, and he goes to me, like, he was saying all these really nice things, and how he meant it was like, you're so exotic. I can't believe that, like, I would be able to meet someone that looks like you or is you. But what he said was, I thought I was going to have to go to Thailand for this. And I was like, oh my God.
Right.
But, you know, it's like, in that case, it makes it easier, especially if it's just like a hookup, because it's like, my body's just going to be enough.
Yeah.
I need you in, out, and we're done.
Yeah.
So that's good. I don't have to put in any, like, manual labor. But as far as meeting someone that I want to spend my life with, that just doesn't cut it.
Okay, this is the fascinating shit now. This is like, we've got past the transgender, the Bratz Doll stuff. Let's get into the fucking nitty gritty.
Yeah.
So you said, obviously the fetishization stuff, that's a hell of a word. But you did mention that your ideal guy is someone that can get you drunk and take advantage of you.
I mean, not like rape me, like that would be a bit wild. But do you know what I mean? Like, I like a
A
man
bit
that
wild.
can
I think
take
it would-
charge.
You take charge
I make so many decisions
physically in the bed, like in the bedroom. do you
Yeah,
mean?
and just like out of life. Like, I make so many decisions in my day-to-day life that if I'm with someone that I love and I'm comfortable with, I don't want to have to keep making those decisions. I don't want to be working 24/7, and I need a man that gets that. I'm not, and I think a lot of people, especially because I like older men, take that as like gold digging, but I've made my money and I don't need their money, and I just, want a man that can manage life for me. Yeah.
But what about in the bedroom?
What about it?
Well, like, what's going on there? Like, that sounds, to some people, that would trigger the fuck out of them. Like,
Yeah,
that's like some
and it
Harvey
might.
Weinstein shit. So where does that, I mean, have you always liked that? Is that always
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
sexual development
Yes.
is
Yeah.
what I enjoyed. My ideal man, and this is going to upset some people, but
To
is
be honest, like, this
Patrick Bateman from American Psycho is like heaven to
I
me.
know that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wild. Have you had any other interesting experiences on dates, and what was it like when you sort of that moment where you've gone, okay, I am, you know, I've transitioned enough to the point that I am a female now. How did the dating life change from that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if it did.
Didn't?
No. I think I've always just gone for the same kind of guys, and I've never been in a situation where it's been an issue for them.
But from the other point of view of the male, like I would say there's probably a difference between a gay guy dating a gay guy and then, you know, is there more people that are interested in?
Yeah.
So you feel
I
like
think
there's
more people
bigger...
are interested in me, which is, I mean, I guess it's just the boobs, and that makes me feel like trivialized. So sometimes I really have to be aware of that and that they like me and not that I'm...
How do you figure that out then? It's a tough one.
It's just how they talk to me and how they interact with me.
Right, yeah.
If they don't want to have a conversation about my day, then we're not going to have a conversation at all. Sorry, bye. You know, and I think... And that's fine if it is just like literally a hookup. Like I don't want to get to know you at all. And yeah, I want it to be like quick and fast and over.
Right.
So that's fine. I don't need I don't care if they're like in it for the body.
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting with you at dinner, then you have to be interested in me, whether I've got boobs or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess everyone's the same. No one really wants to be. I mean, the hard thing is though, living in a society where I don't know if it's just today's society or if it's just who we are. If we've always been physical attraction first and then the rest follows.
Definitely.
But, have you? I mean, let's get into sort of like the, you know, have you ever experienced since transitioning any sort of like hatred, any sort of like
less than ever before?
Right. Do you feel people looking at you in a weird way or
I don't notice it.
You don't notice it?
Sometimes people will be like, that woman was looking at you, and I don't see it, I don't notice it, I don't care either, which is probably why I don't notice it.
Yeah.
If they're looking at me, great. If they're not, even better.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me, and I don't I can't comment on that just because I don't see it.
You have never right. So do you feel like sometimes that maybe like you're in this weird position within, do you take part much in the trans community at all, or do you just sort of stand out of it and deal with
my way of taking part in the trans community is doing things like this and being visible, because I think if I walk into a room, people know how I feel about marriage equality and how I feel about transgender rights. Yeah. I'm the political statement wherever I am. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my way of being involved is being visible to people that don't get it. And that's really all I think I can do, just because I think it would be patronizing for me to try and... I haven't had that experience that a lot of trans women have. I've never had to live on the streets or anything like that.
Yeah.
I've had a really supportive, my friends, my family, everyone I've ever worked with. I've never told someone that I'm transgender and had them be mad at me. So I don't think it would be fair to involve myself too tightly with the trans community. Yeah. It could be insulting to some people. Yeah. And I understand that and I try and respect that. So the thing that I do is I stay visible, and so that there is awareness and people see that I work hard, and hopefully people think I'm friendly and caring. No one that you meet that knows me will ever say I don't work hard or that I'm a bad friend. And I think that's my way of contributing to that. And because of that, it's really important to me to always, if I'm going to have a political statement, have it be for the people that I don't represent, which is, black people and Muslims and cis women. I can't say what it was like to grow up a cis woman and which is a woman that's born with a vagina. For those who don't know.
A woman that's born with a vagina?
Yeah.
Is that just a woman?
That would be like, cis means on the same side of, so like you identify as the same gender you were born with, and then trans is on the opposite side. So just like, So, okay, I don't understand. I've obviously heard that phrase before. I've never looked into it at all. So cis woman is a woman that was born a natal woman.
Okay, right. So that's what that means. Yeah. Okay, sure. And then a cis man is...
A man, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just say that to be specific, so there's I'm not umbrellaing everyone.
Yeah.
But I definitely hear where you're coming from.
That would just confuse the hell out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I really just want to come from a side where I totally understand what you're talking about, but I want to cover everyone's perspective, so the comments aren't there going, why the fuck didn't you ask this? So
yeah, definitely.
For a lot of people, they're not in the community. They don't have a dog in the fight, so there's no need for them to, or want for them to look at this stuff. So I appreciate you explaining it. But yeah, so you did talk about other you don't want to stand up for communities that you're not necessarily involved in, like,
No, I do. I want to make it clear that that's who I'm standing up for, because it's so obvious to people that I'm obviously here for LGBT rights, because how could I not be? But, you never know if somebody is racist or sexist or what have you until they say that they're not. And so I want to make it really clear, like, that's the political statement that I want to have, is that I'm aware of the racism and I'm aware of the sexism and the xenophobia, because if I show up to anything, then the statement's about LGBT. So I need to include the people that aren't in there. They're not facing those problems. People know that how I feel about that just by meeting me. So I need to, bring the attention to the people I don't represent. How
do you feel then about, I guess, the current state of the world?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like, and a lot of people, I understand if you're not pro marriage equality or any equality, what have you, and you don't have the same ideas as me. I don't need you to have the same ideas as me. I don't need anyone to have the same ideas, but can't we just... There's so much anger. So many people are angry, whether it's about religion or sex or gender or even just in life, even just about customer service. We don't need to be that angry. And that hurts me. Sometimes I stay up at night thinking about, there are people being killed, there are people being murdered, there are people just like having a really bad time. And I'm not one of them. And so I can't speak for them, but I really wish I could make that not happen for everyone.
What do you think we have to change then?
I think we just have to be nice. Like, is it too hard to be nice?
No, it's not. It's a very simple way of putting it, but I think it's also there probably needs to be a bit more empathy in everyone's soul.
I think people feel, when they hear about something that they don't believe in, they feel attacked. And I don't think everyone needs to feel attacked, whether that's on my side or their side. And I know it's coming from my side as well. But we don't need to feel attacked by other people disagreeing. And I really wish people weren't.
Yeah. I've always had the opinion that, I'm a free speech absolutist. I want people to be able to say whatever the fuck they want, whether that's good or bad. I think everyone should have the ability to do that, because as soon as you start demonizing either side, whether that be, someone that is on the LGBT side calling someone a bigot, and then, someone on the other side, slurring to... I don't think that helps anyone out at all.
It's not helpful at all. We don't need to agree,
It's okay to not agree. I'm not saying it's, that whole fucking, it's okay to...
it's not okay to be mean, but we don't need to agree.
There's a distinction between being a fucking asshole and being able to agree to disagree. And I think you have to... There's got to be some sort of beauty inside going, okay, I appreciate where you come from and where that point of view comes from, and I understand that how you developed that point of view, because we're not just born with this set of ideals. We've all come from a different time and space. So I think true unity is being able to agree to disagree, but also not be so heavily involved in other people's lives.
And that's like... What I've learned from all these stories coming out is so many people are mad at it. And I don't know, I don't have the time to be mad at other people's lives. And I don't know how they do, And I get if you don't believe in transgenderism, or why seeing an article about me might be like, you're like, that's fucked. I get it. But why do you have the time to care? I don't read about Donald Trump because I don't like him. I don't read about people I don't like. And I especially don't take the time to be mad at it. Have an opinion, but people are just so mad and they don't need to be. And that's from both sides. I can't say it's not from both sides, because I definitely see it. And a lot of people in my community definitely have this. There's definitely a stigma around straight white men, because historically they're the least marginalized people. And we can all admit that. But I don't think I've ever some of my closest friends and the people I can count on are straight white men over 40, you know? So I think there's stigmas for everyone, and I don't think we can paint anyone as just, you know, being the same as the person you just saw.
Well, yeah, and I think in a community of not just LGBT, but people that are fighting for minorities, I mean, the message is that everyone's different and you can't shroud all Muslims with this, or you can't shroud all people with that. I mean, it does seem quite easy. And I can see where the grassroots movements come from these straight white males that get annoyed that they feel like, well, I didn't cause this. It wasn't me personally that did it. There just seems to be, what I think the issue is this blame game. Everyone's got a shit life, and we don't want to think that maybe we had anything to contribute to it. Whether, everyone's circumstances are different. And obviously there's, for some people, their life, if they've had a shit life, it may be mainly external causes that have caused that.
Yeah.
But I think to constantly have this, I think we have a blame culture. Yeah. Constantly. I think, again, that just forces us to not do anything and rely on someone else to change that because we didn't cause it.
I think it's like, we definitely need to acknowledge when things are going wrong, but I don't think at this point it's helpful to, blame anyone. I
think just treating people on an individual basis. I mean, a lot of people come from a similar circumstance because of the community that they're in, whether that be, the black community or whatever. They've come from different circumstances, but inside of that, everyone's different. Like you're saying, with your experience as as being transgender, has been different to everyone else's, and we can't just go, all right, so people with transgenders have, people with transgender have these problems, so we need to do this for the entire community.
Exactly.
It's different.
And then we can't, if trans men and women are saying they're not okay with something, we need to acknowledge it, but we don't. A lot of people feel attacked when somebody's upset, is what I'm trying to get at. And I don't think anybody needs to feel attacked by somebody being upset, is probably my main point. And it took me a long time. It took me a while just then to say that, but that's what I meant. That's what I meant, yeah.
Have you ever experienced any shitty online comments or anything like that?
Yeah, of course.
What like?
Just that I should kill myself, but
right, okay, so
I'm not going to.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
so
save your time for someone who loves you.
Reading that though, you're sitting at home probably, and articles might have been posted, and we all read our comments and whatnot.
Yeah.
What is the feeling when you read that? Because let's just say, do you know Kurt Coleman?
No.
You never heard of Kurt Coleman?
I've heard of him, but
I
don't know him.
I had, because he gets some really wild shit. And I asked him if comments ever offended him or anything like that, and he was flat out, never. They've just never.
It's
penetrated him. Surely, and I just don't agree. I just don't think. I think you can be desensitized to it after time. But was there a time when you were a bit more sensitive to that stuff?
I care about the people that love me, and it's never the people that love me that are saying that.
Yeah.
So it never bothers me. I think last night, my friend and I was reading comments with her. It really doesn't get to me. If anything, I learn a lot from how people think through what they comment.
Yes, yeah.
And when I look at a news article about someone I don't understand, I don't get mad. So it's interesting to see the thought process that somebody might get mad from something that they don't have to look at. It's never gotten to me because, like I said, I care about the people that love me. And I really wish more people would spend time thinking about the people that love them. And the only other thought I have about nasty comments is I hope that it doesn't validate what other people are saying to other people. If I'm a trans woman and I'm reading somebody's article about being transgender and there are people in my life telling me to kill myself and I see more comments to somebody else saying that you should kill yourself, I don't want it to validate those comments in somebody's life. And other than that, me personally, it doesn't affect because I've got a pretty sweet life and they're not in it.
Well, you're a fucking lucky cunt then, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
What about, I guess, the suicide rates in the trans community are very, very high, extremely high. And considering the minority that it is, you know, I've heard people sort of have the discussion and the debate that
it's because they're trans.
Yeah. So where do you, because obviously you seem quite confident in yourself, and I feel like that's a quality that you would have, that you always had, whether you were wherever the fuck you are, right? Where do you sit with that?
It's tough because I definitely...
Because if it is a problem with being transgender...
then we need to think about that, you know? Like if people are suicidal because they're transgender and it's something that goes hand in hand, then we really need to think about what treatment they're getting. Because I know the process I went through to be, you know, take hormones and even be allowed to have a breast augmentation, whether that's overseas or not. You know, you need to see people. And when it really does concern me, and I did speak to a trans woman recently, and she had the opposite of my life. And she wasn't allowed to continue her transition because she was also, you know, like depressed and suicidal. And I think that's really important that we do take a step back from gender if those things are present, because I don't want anyone to be a statistic, whether you're transgender or not. If you're dealing with your gender, but there's bigger issues, that you're suicidal, that you're depressed, and I understand how you can think that becoming a woman will alleviate that, but your life really doesn't change. You know, all the plastic surgery I've had never got me a better job. I got my job by working hard. And that's not to say that trans women don't work hard, but...
Well, your soul is your essence anyway.
Yeah, like getting facial feminization, getting a boob job and getting a vagina isn't going to...
You're literally just...
You're still going to go back
car.
home, you know?
Yeah.
Work on home before you work on something that won't... It's not an appreciating asset. At the end of the day, you're investing a lot of time and money. Maybe if you have the money to do it, and it's tough because I know how they feel, and I don't want to discredit anyone's experience or say, like, you know, if you have a shit life, you shouldn't be upset about your gender, because I get it, but don't put yourself in danger. Work on life. If that means being 30 and becoming a woman, that might be what you have to do if it means living to 30. And I think there's a lot of pressure. As soon as you say that you're trans, there's a lot of pressure from other people to be a man's idea of a woman. And that's just a fact. And I think a lot of trans women, the reason that they aren't spending time focusing on those other issues when they are suicidal, when they are depressed, I haven't had that. So I can't say that I've, you know, had to decide between the two. But a lot of them they put that on the back burner because there's a lot of pressure to be who other people want to see them as. So
what is a man's idea of a woman then?
I mean, it just depends where you are, you know?
Isn't everyone different? Like my idea of a woman, so I mean, that seems like a...
Exactly, but a lot of people don't see that. You know, a lot of people that I've spoken to, and this is for trans women and biological women, that may be offensive to some trans women, but we all know what I mean. We have the media's idea of an ideal woman, you know, which a lot of people do call a man's idea of a woman. And I can't say I've ever met a man that wants that, but that's how.
When you said some people might get offended by a biological woman, like I mean, I'm not in that position, but I can't understand why that would be offensive if that's what science is.
I can't be offended by that either. I know that, some people do feel like it could be discrediting to their gender identity. I can't speak for them. I'm just aware that people do feel like that.
Yeah, I understand.
So I can't explain it any more than you could.
Do you think it's detrimental, though, to disfact? Like, you know, if someone wants to go male to female and, you know, be called a woman, then that's, I mean, I'm totally fine with that. But I also am in a position where I think, well, you know, there is a difference between a biological woman, because the DNA and things that make up a biological woman, and a male. Males and females to me are different. You know, we have more testosterone, estrogen, which means, you know, men are normally stronger, bigger, taller, more physically dominative, whereas women are much, you know, they develop much quicker, they're much smarter, I guess, in general. You know, it's a yin-yang thing, I believe. Yeah. Do you feel that is detrimental to be offended by science?
I don't I'm not offended by a lot, so I can't speak for anyone, but I don't think we need to focus on it. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to focus on whether somebody's saying biological or not. We have bigger problems.
I think so, but I also think we shouldn't delude ourselves into, not thinking that, science is a thing.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's trying to tell you it's not, I
just mean there's laws that are being changed in certain countries that sort of, do you see, like, because I've had these conversations with people before, and it's like people want to know that aren't in your position. They want to know, okay, they can be accepting of that, but where do they draw the line? Like, obviously this is a total different thing, but it's almost wrapped up in the same trivial idea of these people that I identify as a fucking dog, or or a 7-year-old baby. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've seen that.
Like, where do you draw the line where you go, okay, look, you aren't biologically a 7-year-old child. You're a man being a 7-year-old child.
Yeah, for sure.
How do we accept what's happening, this movement that's taking place, and going, okay, this is where the world's going. I've not got an issue with it.
Yeah.
But also go, but you can't do this.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that you can't do it, but can you see where people really struggle with this whole...
Yeah. And it comes from, again, like, if you're hearing something you don't believe in, people feel attacked. And I've never been in a situation where I've had to talk to anyone about my genes or my DNA. So I really can't, I don't even know the conversations where that comes up. So I really can't build on that like, if anything, I don't, and I'm also not offended. So
I'm not
can't
saying
build
that
on
anyone's different. I mean, everyone is a fucking human being at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all.
And I understand where you're coming from, and I really do. But because I'm not someone that's offended by those things, I can't build
comment
on it.
Yeah, that's totally fair enough. That's fair enough.
I don't have those feelings of being offended by somebody being biologically female.
Yeah, okay. Again, like I said, whether you are or not, I don't think it changes the fact that you're a human being and you should be treated with the same equality as everyone else. But my personal opinion is, there just has to be like,
Yeah.
Do you think transgenderism should be like a third gender, or
I think,
how does that work as well?
Well, the interesting thing is in not most cultures, but in a lot of cultures that aren't westernized, they identify 4 genders. So I think and that's something that we need to figure out if we do want it to be a third gender, or if we're just okay with being like, well, we're okay with you being a woman, so let's just maintain the 2 genders. I know New Zealand, as long as I can remember, has acknowledged X gender in legal documents, and they've always been pretty progressive. But whether that's something, I've never met anyone that identifies as X, so I can't say how detrimental that is to someone.
Even Thailand and stuff like that, like I guess their culture is probably a little bit different to ours, but we're sort of, it's been drummed into our culture and our society that there's 2 genders, and now you have BuzzFeed posting videos where it's like there's 4,000 genders, and some people just sit there and go, I think that's actually detrimental to the whole thing. Yeah,
that definitely is.
Because there isn't a million genders. There's probably more than 2 if that's how you want to see it. But, possibly.
I think people are really,
maybe not biologically though,
worked up in the social aspect of gender, in that male is masculine and female is feminine. And I think we need to look at it as a scale of just like A and B. And maybe you're A, maybe you're B. Maybe you are feminine and, you're not, but you're A. And maybe you're B, but you're masculine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we need to... I personally don't have a need to get that into it.
Box people into a certain ideal.
Like, if... I don't know about these other genders,
Yeah.
I've never... heard of, not to say I've never heard of them in that they don't exist, but I've never met someone that's like, oh, this is a gender I identify that I'm unfamiliar with. Yeah. So I don't even know what they look like or what they mean.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are really caught up in gender.
Well, look, I think we've had I had a lot of questions that I sort of was thinking about. What do I personally want to ask you? What do
people want to
think
hear.
People want to hear. And, you know, you took some of those, you know, they're quite confronting questions that some people can't answer and don't want to answer. So I appreciate you, one, taking the time to email me, and I guess, you know, I was flattered to read that you wanted to come on and go. I thought, okay, well, you know, you're giving me the opportunity to get in your head for a moment, and, you know, not just that, but, you know, I would guess that this video is going to get viewed by a lot of people. So thanks for having the balls to do that. Oh, fuck.
Still have them for now.
Oh, that can't be the Facebook clip at all.
It's fine.
I meant that in the figure of speech. Do you know why I do comedy now? Because that wasn't meant to be a joke, but that's just the sort of shit that happens. I've really shot myself in the foot. I'm going to bury my head in a pillow. Thanks for coming on the show.
That's all right.
Do you have,
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Do you have like social media or anything like that? Are you pushing that, or you're not interested in it?
I do, but I don't
it.
know if you're going to enjoy it.
Well, I mean,
my
this is
Snapchat. I'm always naked on my Snapchat, so maybe not. My Instagram is just Jolene.Dawson.
Jolene.
Take it from there, I guess.
Yeah. Take it from there.
If you want to see me completely naked, just ask. But
wild, Jolene, you are.
I know, and we didn't spend much time talking about that, unfortunately.
Do you want to? Well,
we got into the hard stuff.
Okay, let's talk more about that. What are you doing naked on Snapchat?
What? Nothing really. Just
being naked.
Just hanging out.
Right. Do people pay for this?
No. I don't think I would ever accept money to take my clothes off. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. No,
I just don't need to.
No. So why do it then?
I enjoy it. I've spent a lot of money on my body, and it makes me happy.
Right. Would you do like photo shoots and stuff like that?
I guess. I wouldn't not, but I have, like, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
If it came, I would do Playboy.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah,
I think
the
they'd
transgender model in there.
Yeah, I think they'd be waiting for me to get a vagina for that.
Did the one that was in there have a vagina?
I have no idea.
I didn't look into it.
I'm more a Penthouse fan, really.
What's the difference?
The articles.
Right.
Although my last Penthouse that arrived, it came with a really shitty towel. It said it was like a gym towel, but it was like a microfiber cloth to like clean your window. So you ordered the magazine? Yeah.
Jeez, that's fucking ancient shit. Right.
I just like it like arriving, and it's a matte finish, so it looks nice on my table.
Right. Yeah. What sort of articles do they post? Or where do you see yourself like politically leaning then? Because they post like political articles, don't they? Or is that more Playboy?
No, I think Penthouse does as well. Yeah. I read more like about a really interesting article for me was this like really gross caravan park on the Gold Coast. Oh. So I enjoy that kind. I like learning about people that don't have the same life as me.
Right.
I just don't get mad about it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still thinking about my balls comment.
It's fine. I still have them. We're not, I'm not trying to hide it. I don't even tuck. I mean, that's the thing.
All right.
Is I have a penis. It's not a secret. So,
So
why hide it?
There you going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can see it, that's your problem.
Wild. This is going to be a great episode. Jolene, is there anything else you want to talk about? Is there anything that I really don't know what else to ask, but if you're open to talk about anything that you think other people might find interesting.
I can talk about anything. I'm not really, but I just know my life. So I don't know what you can ask.
I'm more interested. See, this is...
what do you want to know? Ask me anything. I'm not offended. I'm the person to ask.
No, I understand that. I'm more like... I don't want to say that you're lying when you say it, but I genuinely think that you wouldn't care if you were famous.
It wouldn't bother me, but I don't have a need to be.
But I mean, you are reaching out to media for
my community. Like I said, I can't do the things.
But that will in return be like fame. You do understand that.
Maybe we have a different idea of fame, because I don't think,
or attention, or just people interested in what you're doing.
Yeah, people are definitely going to be interested, and I'm happy to talk about it. But I don't think the goal for me is to be known for anything, because...
But then why go to,
Just to make the awareness, As long as people are aware that there's different versions of being transgender, you know, there's different experiences, then that's important to me in this point in my life. Do I think it will be important to me in 5 years or 10 years? No, because it's not what I spend most of my time doing. I spend most of my time working hard on retiring early and doing charity. I'm spending a lot of time right now organizing a little charity event to raise money for the refugees. Those are the things that are important to me, not if people... I would rather people understand my story than recognize me.
Okay.
If you understand what I mean. And that's hard to do. I can't remove myself from that if I'm going to have... You know, if I'm going to tell people my experience, I can't remove myself from that. But the goal isn't to have people recognize me over the trans community. Yeah, okay, sure.
When you're talking about the refugees then, like what is it about that community that makes you go, I want to help out there?
Because I feel like they're having a rough time and I don't want them to. So if I'm in a position where I can raise money and spend the money that I do, I should at least...
What will that money go to?
It'll go to the UNHCR. So that's like relief work in Syria, things like that, helping build communities up from, you know, war-torn civilization.
It's a bit hard when UN countries are bombing the shit out of them as well, though. It's a double standard there.
It is, but, you know, we still need to help, whether...
Yeah. It's a shitty situation.
It is. I would just wish it wasn't happening, but it is. And if I can contribute to helping someone, then I'm going to. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you want to use your image and this, you know, this larger than life story that you have, which that's what it is, to use that to in turn turn that into something else that you can help other people from.
Yeah. I hope that it all, you know, ends up people feeling better about themselves. I don't need to be on anyone's walls or, you know, anything like that. I don't even need to be on anyone's TV. It just doesn't, it's not going to change my life. So that's not a goal for me. But if it means that people will think about the people that didn't have it as easy as me, then I think it's the least I can do when I've had such a fortunate life.
Well, I guess that's a good way to wrap it all up. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for being your friend. Again, thanks for answering those questions and having the guts to do it.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, thank you, Jolene. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks.